What's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Night Live, 10 Horse Money YouTube channel. Got a good show for you tonight. Just talked to Matt, and he's running a little bit behind, but he's going to jump in here just shortly. Man, things are happening quick out there in the tournament world and fishing world. It wasn't too long ago, and we were right in the middle of the spawn, and now it's like full-on summer deal. It's been hot. The water temperatures are, I was over at a local lake like a couple days ago and I saw like 89 degree water temps, but it's been holding in like the mid 80s around here. We did have some storms come through the last couple days, which kind of cooled it off, but it's definitely summertime. I see Darius in here. He said the urchin is the new flatworm. I've been throwing the urchin around, man. And I got some like Yamamoto unis last fall, and I put one on, threw it a couple times, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. I just didn't have the confidence to, to keep it in my hand. But I've been playing around with it lately, and I'll have a couple videos coming out where I caught them pretty good on it. It's if you haven't thrown that urchin bait, I know it looks weird and it doesn't make any sense, but give it a shot because there's something about it. You can fish it, you can scope with it, but you can just cast it to docks or laydowns or stumps, grass lines, and just fish it just like a jerkbait. And man, they eat it. There's a couple good rigs out there. I've been using that Jewel Bait Company. They have a Frico rig that works pretty good. And then Core Tackle has a really good one. It's got the hook and the weight, and it's got two little prongs, and you just slide the urchin bait up on there. Seems like a 1/0 hook works great for like that 17 millimeter. And if you move up to like a 19 or 21 millimeter, I like a 3/0 hook, but it's green pumpkin, black and blue. It's pretty straightforward. I've been throwing on bait casting gear, just like 14-pound fluorocarbon. It's a cool bait. I don't know how long it's going to stay relevant, but I got a feeling it's going to be around for a long time. It's just something different. I see Taters in the background. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to jump in here, brother. All right, we'll bring him in. Man, I was worried about you, dude. I thought
I ate dinner. I knew you guys are an hour behind us. Like, well, let's see, it's 9 o'clock here.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And then my wife and I were watching this. I'll be honest, it's my fault, Gabe. I had my phone. I went fishing today, had it laying there, and I texted you like you texted me last night. Well, I didn't see it till this morning. And then I texted you and I was fishing, and then I got back from fishing and I never saw it. And I was like, well, maybe he didn't want me to do it. I don't know. And I ate dinner and I was going to look at my phone again. And then we were watching this crazy, this has nothing to do with fishing. It was on Netflix. What was it? Maternal Instinct, or I don't know. Somebody's been taught this, the craziest story I've ever seen in my life.
What's it about? I watch a lot.
It's like a documentary about this. I mean, I don't want to tell you without messing it up, but like basically, can't really tell anything. It's like,
really, it's too much of a spoiler.
What was the one last year that was real crazy? The mom in Michigan, and she was actually texting her daughter, her own daughter. Remember, she was being real rude. It was like all over the internet last year.
Yep. I know.
Remember the Michigan woman?
Yep.
This is crazier than that.
Huh.
It's basically this boy in Oklahoma meets this girl. She moves in with him. She says she has all this money, and she says she's pregnant, and there's a murder.
Oh,
that's all I'm going to say.
So it's a documentary. So like this,
it's on Netflix now. I've been seeing it come up in my feed, and I was like, why does everybody keep talking about it? Well, I actually turned it on and watched it, and that's why I didn't check my phone, because my wife and I got into this thing.
I know,
and I'm like, this is the craziest story I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's crazy, huh?
I've been watching that the Lawman Bass Reeves. I don't know if you've seen that come up.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah,
I like the Western ones. It's like in the 1800s. And
this is just an hour and 30 minutes. It's not like some long documentary in different episodes. No, it's an hour and 30 minutes and it's over. But it's on Netflix.
I'll check it out, man.
Yeah,
how about them Kings, man?
Dude, I was watching that too. I was watching some of the stuff on you. I'm a YouTuber now, and I was just watching different highlights and stuff when you texted me from like when the team came back to Raleigh. Tracy and I said we usually go to 2 or 3 games a year, just regular season. A couple times we'll go to the regular, it's like the first round or the second round. They've never made it to the Stanley Cup. And I told her, I said, I'm going to spend the money. We won't go to any games, but we're going to the Stanley Cup if they make it.
Yeah.
Well, we literally set, normally when the regular season, I'll sit kind of low so I can see because I don't go, but I don't know, twice a year. And it's like $200 a ticket usually on regular season. But for the Stanley Cup, I was in the back row at the very top. I mean, literally the high. I had a conversation with the guy in the rafters. Like literally, there's a guy in the rafters that would do the bungee jump down. You can talk to him. That's how high I was. But I was at the Cup, and I said they only lost 3 games in the whole playoffs, and one of them I was at the game. I was like, my odds were like. Well, they only lost 2. Well, I guess they only lost 1 game on the road, and two at home, and of course it was game. I was at game 1.
Yeah,
but it was, dude. It was fun. It was a cool experience. It was really loud. Hockey's to me, hockey's the best sport to watch.
I agree, and there's something about being in the stadium too. You know, in the arena, it's
yeah, you can see
a lot of energy in there.
Well, people on TV, it's a little harder because it's harder to follow the puck. On television, I swear you can follow the puck better live.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but you just can.
You remember where they did the little blue tracking of the puck?
Yeah.
What'd you think about that?
What was that? Remember that was when NHL was on Fox, maybe what was it, like 15 years ago or so?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of it kind of annoyed me after a while, but I don't know. There was somebody said it was one of the players. I think it was, I don't know, they were interviewing one of the players, it might have been on the Hurricanes team, and was saying something about if you actually go to the game, you'll fall in love with hockey. And they're like, but I can't see the puck. And it was like, well, we don't see it all the time either. And I'm like, they probably don't as fast as it moves.
That thing moves,
I don't know.
Man.
But that's like me, like we all fishing and stuff. I'm probably like, I don't really watch fishing that much. To me, it bores me watching it live. I'll watch a little, but I can't watch the entire tournament all 4 days, you know, when it's on TV. Are you guys that much of fans that you watch it?
Only reason I watch it is because my job allows me to, because I'm delivering mail and I got a mounted route where I'm in my truck all day long. So I'll have it just rolling on my phone, you know, honestly, I'll watch it for several hours, but I'm not like glued to it. But if I'm at home, I might have it on, but I'm doing, you know, other stuff, and I'll come back and check up every once in a while. But it's not like I'm glued to it for forever. I watch the highlight reels. The highlight reels are awesome.
I tend to watch the whole time, like if it's one of my buddies that's made the top 5 or whatever that I know real well.
Yeah. Or I'll watch the weigh-ins. Like if I fish a tournament and I'm on my way home, or I wanted to fish a tournament and I didn't make it, I like to watch the weigh-in to see, you know, who did what and, you know, what the patterns were, especially like a day, like the last day where people start actually revealing what they're doing and find out how they caught them and this and that.
But anyway, Gabe, I'm sorry, dude. I should have checked my phone. That was my fault.
Oh, man.
I'm glad you called me.
Yeah.
I was just kind of chilling on the couch.
Yeah, I just thought, well.
Oh, crap. That's right. For something, yeah. I canceled on you last week because of the Stanley Cup.
You guys get any mayfly bite at all in your neck of the woods? Is that a deal?
Yeah, it is. It's a deal. Like when usually in ours, it's like this time of year, but I travel so much now with the NPFL that I'm a different part of the country like that. The mayflies were hatching in the last tournament we had at Lay Lake. There was mayflies everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just were starting to come out. Like I didn't notice it the first day of practice, but like by the 3rd day of practice, I really started noticing the mayfly hatch. We get them. I notice it more. It's weird at Norman. I notice it more at night because we'll do a lot of night tournaments. And at certain parts of the lake, we have to turn our lights on. You can just like, sometimes they're so thick, just they're attracted to the lights.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time down at Kentucky Lake. That's where Darius is messaging from, and I was down there a couple weeks ago, and man, they were everywhere. They were just, you'd come in little sections of the lake, and there'd just be this film, and I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it at first, but I started kind of looking at what that film was, and it's, you know, it's the little mayflies laying. And then anytime you know, if you'd skip a bait underneath the lay down and maybe you'd hit the leaves or something, they'd all fly off the trees and surround you.
I had an old man one time tell me he used to shake the trees and then come back to that in like 20 minutes and catch fish.
Oh, sneaky chumming.
Yeah. And shake them, and then let them fall down and then come back to that area later.
That's a good idea. Attracts a bluegill and
I've tried it. Never worked. Sorry, Gabe. Got this. I'm rigging my phone up on this. I'm trying to.
What if you turn it? If you turn it sideways, will it?
I don't know what it. I probably lost you.
Yeah, it lost me. So yeah, maybe not do that.
All right, how did I get back to there?
Are you vertical now?
Yeah, I'm back to vertical. Hold on.
It still ain't working.
You can hear me. Can you see me?
Nope.
All right. Do I got to go back? Find this thing.
You might close it out and then come back into the link. There's probably a button you can push, but that'd probably be easier. Yeah, Darius, I'm heading back down to Kentucky Lake Thursday. I'm going to get back down there. Bound and determined to get on them ledge fish. I had it last time I was down there. I found some fish. I just didn't find any big schools, but I'd find some schools of like, you know, like 5 or 6, something like that. He's back.
I'm back.
Can you hear me all right?
I got it now. Cool.
Somebody said you got a hog father around. No,
we have some pretty good. Like when I see the mayflies, I tend to throw buzz frog. Or pop R. That usually is my key over the years. It's time to go down the bank with topwater.
Yeah, I was fishing a BFL. This is probably.
Oh, I've lost you again somehow on the. Let's try this.
Can you hear me?
You got me?
I can hear you just fine. Can you
lost
hear me?
Can't hear me. All right, hold on. We're gonna leave again.
No, I can hear you. Yeah, man, I have to idle. You got to idle a whole bunch. And I was out there looking for, you know, the big schools, like schools of like 15 to 20 to 30. And they're out there, but I started kind of paying attention to when I found like, you know, 5 to 7, 6 to 7, something like that. And then I just drop my trolling motor and make a few casts on them. And that's how I kind of had to catch them. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'll undo this. I was trying to put it on charge so it wouldn't die. Hold on. Because Tater was not prepared. I'm getting something to drink.
Yeah. Got to stay hydrated.
For my voice.
That's right. You need some hot tea for your singing voice.
Actually, I want to drink a sun drop.
Sam says I was just talking. Sam made a comment. He said the urchin bait is obviously the real deal. No debating it. Just need to figure out how to rig mine. Man, I've been using like a 2 or a 3/0 VMC weedless Nico hook, and then for the weighting system. If you haven't checked this out, Sam, you can go to Jewel Bait Company, and it's called a Frico rig, and it's just a nail weight that's got a hole in the top of it, and you put that nail weight through the center of the urchin bait, and then you take your hook point and you kind of skin hook the urchin bait, and then go through that hole, and then skin hook it again, and it just locks it off to where the fish can't pull it off. On the opposite end of the hook point, it's got a little T. I don't have any down here. I have some up on my boat. But that T keeps the nail weight from pulling through. And then the other really cool one is Core Tackle. They got a really cool one that's it's got 2 prongs in there, because those urchins are made out of that. I think it's called like TPE. It's like that thermoplastic. It's hard to get stuff through. It's not like your traditional plastic. It's kind of like the Z-Man stuff, but it's next level. It's more like a cross between Z-Man plastic and like one of those bouncy balls that you get out of the quarter machine. You know, it's like super dense stuff. So
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, exactly, man. But so if you can get something in it, it usually stays in there. And the hook, if you just regularly hook it, just kind of not really skin hook it, but a little bit more than skin hook it, it actually stays on the hook pretty good. And then you can take a bobber stop once you get it rigged on that Frico rig. You can take a little bobber stop and thread it down the point onto the hook, and it locks it in. It's not going to come off. I was fishing it the other day. I caught about 20 fish on it, and that's the good thing about those urchin baits is they're stupid expensive, but you can catch you can catch hundreds of fish on them as long as they don't pull it off.
I took some thin spinnerbait wire that I buy from Jan's, and it's already got a little hole that's already pre-bent, and then I looped the hole onto like a 3-prong treble, and then I wrapped it around the bottom of the treble.
Okay.
To where then I got it to come down underneath the treble, like the three whatever at dead center.
Okay.
Then I L bent it, I kind of made a V bend when it comes down and then makes like a hook. Then I push it through, get it up at the top, and creep it and bend it almost like a split, like a swivel, and connect it like you would connect on a chatterbait. So now my hooks are literally sitting on top of the urchin bait, and none of the hooks are in the bait.
Huh.
And that whole thing is holding it, and it won't come out.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you can put your weight underneath side. And the other thing it has is that way the hooks are perfectly straight up. And there's nothing in the way for when it bites on it.
And it's probably more snag resistant too, since the hook's on the top instead of the bottom, if it falls that way.
Well, it'll fall like that. And when it lays on the bottom, it's laying with the hooks pointed up.
Yeah, right.
When you jerk it off the bottom, it's always coming up.
I know a lot of guys are using like the double toed rig that comes in like a.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think I watched, I do watch a little bit. I just can't watch for 8 hours, but I watched, Jason Christie was showing how his was rigged with a frog hook.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I watched a video. What is that other place? The one in Minnesota, Wire to Fish. Somebody was doing the frog hook.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember how they weighted it. But whatever, when he was hooking them, the urchin was sliding up his line. So he had zero weight. I think he weighted the frog hook itself, so there was no weight in the urchin bait. So even if the urchin bait came off, it would float because there's no weight in it.
Oh.
So he had the weight on the hook.
Like if he broke off, it'd float up?
Yeah. So you never lose the bait.
Yeah. I think they're going to come out with some, a toad hook is pretty stout. I mean, it's made to be thrown on braid. I think they're going to come out with some lighter wire ones. That'd be a step in the right direction, because if you're throwing fluorocarbon, like 14-pound fluorocarbon with one of those big frog hooks, you got to jack them pretty good. I mean, I guess you could go, braid to a stout fluorocarbon leader, but I think a lighter wire frog hook, not like a light, but more of a medium, heavy duty frog hook, something more medium. I think that's a good step in the right direction.
Have you guys figured out? Because I'll be honest, I caught my first 4 fish. I really haven't thrown it much, but now I'm like, man, every tournament's now I better start learning how to use this. So I went today. That's why I went fishing, and I got like 5 or 6 bites on it today. I had so many followers and then go back down. And then the ones that I caught, I finally stopped looking at scope and just threw it at a dock, and then my line would just take off.
Yeah.
Have you guys figured out, is slow, medium, how fast do you want this thing to fall?
That's
what I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but I want it to fall. I haven't caught a ton of fish. I probably caught like 40 fish on it, 40, 50 fish on it, but I've only had it out about maybe 5 times where I've kind of seriously played around with it.
Yeah.
It seems to me like I've been using like an 1/8 ounce weight on even like a 17 millimeter or a 20 millimeter or 17 or a 19 millimeter. I got both sizes. I don't have any to 21s yet, but I don't think it needs to fall really, really fast, like not even as fast as like a minnow on a 3/16. I mean,
is it faster than a wacky Cinco?
Yeah.
Or is it the same speed as a wacky Cinco?
No, I think it falls faster than a Cinco. but not, not as fast as like
a
a
spoon.
3/8 ounce jig or something, like somewhere in the middle. I
Yeah.
think you're popping it, and I want it to stall out a little bit and then fall. You don't want it to just pop and fall like really fast. But I think that's
Right.
that's one of the things that people are experimenting is how, everybody wants to fish it as fast as you can get by with because you're more efficient that way. And I think everybody's just kind of dialing that in. I mean, Pake South knows, Fisher and I knows, but I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, all these guys are telling me, fish it like a jerk bait, and I'm actually pretty good with a jerk bait. And I'll jerk it and jerk, and I've yet to get one when I pop it. I mean, I really haven't caught that many fish on it yet, so it doesn't really matter. But
What have you been doing?
these
Like
the ones.
it or what?
No, like I just literally, I had 3 good ones today, like over 3 pounds on, and the 3 were I flipped by a dock pole, and I mean, it was like if this is where the dock is. It didn't even like, let's say there's the bottom. It was already here and then the line's taken off. I hadn't even got to the point where I was going to pop it.
Oh, okay. They're
And
hitting right on
3
the
of my bites today, it was literally the fish must have just been under there. And the minute it came in, it just came and got it.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
then there was times 6 hours earlier in the day, I'm looking at them at scope. I see them. I throw it. It's coming. They go, boom, come back down. Throw it another one. Boom, come back down. I'm jerking. If I jerk it, they'd run away from me. I was like,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
seems
know.
like that. They're either scared to death of it or they're really interested.
Yeah, but I'm not. Believe me, I am not a scoper. It's enough for me just to get it in the screen that I can see what I just told you.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool. The cool thing about that is you can just target like cover with it. Like grass. I caught some off of just grass edges, like boats sitting in 7 feet of water, and I'm throwing up to the grass edge. It's like in 5, and just let it sink for like a 3 count and hit it a couple times. Let it sink for just a 2 count, hit it a couple times, and then boom, your line jumps. And not even looking at them, they're just sitting in that grass, and they'll come up there and smash it. It's a cool bait.
I don't know. Have these guys figured out when? You remember how when the A rig first came out, and we all started throwing it, and then we figured out, well, it's really, really good in the winter. I'm not saying you can't catch them in the summer, but typically the A rig's known as a winter bait, right?
Exactly.
Well, sometimes I wonder about, like this. Does anybody know when the best time for this bait is? I mean, they're catching it.
I don't think it's cycled around enough to know if you can catch cold water or not. When I first tied one on, it was like late fall last year, and the water temp was like 50, and I threw it a little bit. I still had fish following it, but I just didn't stay with it long enough because I knew I could catch them other ways. And obviously it works around the spawn and in the warm water period, but I bet it'll work in cold water.
I was with a couple of lead anglers this winter, and they both had it before it got. I mean, I guess guys were catching on it last year and stuff, but before it got to where it is now, how big it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw either one. We never got a bite on it. I mean, they'd throw it on and on and on, and they're like, "Don't tell nobody about it. It's kind of a secret right now." And I'm like, "Okay, I won't tell anybody." You know what I mean? Like, so I knew they must have been catching them on it, but we never caught any that day that made me want to run out and go buy them.
Yeah.
And that was in the dead of winter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to beat a minnow in the winter, I think, just about anywhere. So, I mean, you might as well throw a minnow or an A-rig. An A-rig still works some. It's nothing like it used to be, but it's for me, the A-rig around here is like early fall. If you can get on that A-rig bite before everybody starts throwing it, like mid-September or early October, before people really start thinking about it and those fish kind of start schooling up, you can have some hellacious A-rig days. And then once it gets cold and everybody starts thinking about it, they get pretty wise to it. And it's not near as, as efficient, but it still works. But that minnow, I don't think that minnow's ever going away. It's just hard to beat.
I don't know if this thing's going away.
I don't think it is. I think it's just going to be another tool
I think I'm just going to quit. I'm not even going to make tackle anymore. Minnow, urchin bait.
That's all you need.
That's what I'm saying.
On a 19-inch screen or a 21-inch screen or whatever it is.
I don't know, Gabe. I'll go back and forth. I'm saying I don't care if y'all want to use this stuff, and I'm using it, and it is a skill. I'm
Yeah.
not one of these old guys that's like, no. I just think what they don't realize is, but maybe that's where it's going to be. I guess there's not going to be those. Eventually, if the companies that sell spinner baits and crankbaits and all that, they're all going to go out of business. You're not going to have any of that anymore. So is everybody just going to make urchin baits and minnows and that's it? The reason they got rid of the A rig was they were worried how it had nothing to do with the fish. They could say it was the fish. No, it was they were worried that's all anybody was going to buy. But for some reason, they have not worried about that situation in the industry. That's why I don't like. That's why I'm not a fan of live scope.
Yeah.
That's number one. It has nothing to do with old school young kids beating me. That it is a skill. I just think they're not thinking of the entire industry as a whole and how big our industry is for jobs and all kinds of stuff. And it's going to cut things back, which I guess, I don't know. I guess it's just with all of technology.
Well, and like the NPFL, you guys don't have scope.
Yeah.
How do you think that's I mean, are there still plenty of fish to be caught up shallow and without using it? I mean, that doesn't seem like.
Well, I think what it makes it, there's times that I think, dang, I feel like I caught them better this year in practice. Now, I mean, I suck overall. I've had horrible tournaments, but there's been times I feel like practice was easier. My first year we could use scope. My second year we couldn't use scope, and now I'm on my third year where we can't use scope again. I swear it seems like it always, like the first day you get to an event, most of the time, the shallow bite's the best the first day, maybe the second day. But as the week goes on, you got 120 people out there hitting the same spots over and over.
Yep.
Just with the pressure. By the end of the week, you're always like trying to think, okay, I'm catching them shallow today, but where are they going? So you're kind of trying to, they might move deep because of the pressure, I guess. And I'm giving you a long answer. It seems like maybe they're getting used to the ping. So practice was hard when I had scope, but practices seemed easier shallow now that I don't have scope on. And now, sometimes I'm wondering, am I catching some of these fish in practice? Or I'm getting more bites in practice because they're not hearing the ping from the scope. But then there's times in the tournament I'm like, man, sometimes it feels, but it's still harder than it was in my mind 10 years ago. Because it's like all these fish are getting caught. So many, we're catching fish that we never caught before. You agree or disagree?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right. Eventually, that's going to catch up. Where it seems like it's getting harder and harder to catch a fish.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Those fish are getting educated. They used to be able to, they'd come up. Only time that a lot of fish were up shallow is during the spawn. And then some of them would just move out off the bank and they could relax. They could slide up shallow and feed, or slide up on a point or some sort of cover or structure and feed. But now they're getting hammered all year long. So they're getting.
Yeah, we're catching in our events most of the time. We're catching active fish, or we're throwing to a stump, or we're throwing to an ambush place where they're set up to feed.
Right.
The scoping people are catching them out there. Yeah, they're probably catching some feeding fish too. Or they, I hear these kids talk about if they're in pairs or they see how they're set up, then that's a fish they can throw the minnow to, where they'll see some other fish and they're like, no, I can throw my minnow there, and they're never going to come up and eat it. They figured, I guess that's the skill they figured out by all the hours about there doing it.
Right.
But I guess what I'm trying to say, we've always caught active fish, or we're looking for active fish before scope. That's why we were targeting and trying to figure out a pattern, for that day.
Well, and you're fishing, like if you go down, if you run into a cove and you just fish visible cover, like some laydowns and stumps and whatever, those are typically places that only hold a couple fish, unless it's like a magic tree or something. And you get, you go through an area and you're just practicing. You know, you might hook one fish and then you're putting a hitchhiker on your bait and no hook, and you're just kind of feeling for it. Well, as soon as you leave, somebody else is probably going to come in and do that. And then by the first day of practice, those fish are already kind of, they may not have been all hooked, but they're already kind of, they know something up. And then you catch a couple fish out of that area. Each person, there's 5-6 people fishing in there. You've probably depleted most of the fish in that certain cove that are set up on those visible pieces of cover, where there's going to be fish out behind you, probably larger numbers of fish out behind you. Or if you're fishing like a big grass flat, like, you know, you go to like Gunnersville or something, you find a good juicy grass flat. There's not specific targets. You're just kind of fan casting. So there can be hundreds of bass in a big grass flat, and they're not as easy to target as if those fish were just set up on individual pieces of wood.
Right.
So I think, you know, a lot of those fish are, after day one of the tournament, they're probably gone and they're not replenishing. So it is tougher. I think it is tougher. It is around here. I mean, I can tell the fish are, fish have gotten a little bit harder to catch. You got to get a little bit more sneaky. You got to be more accurate with everything. And that's just it. If you're looking at a fish, you're making a really good cast at a fish, or if you're not necessarily targeting like the fish, you're targeting the cover, you're making a really good cast at that piece of cover because you're able to see it. So if you don't have, you know, eyes under the water, you're just way less efficient. You know, you're kind of hoping you land. It might take you a couple casts to land on that brush pile. And by then that bait's already, that if that fish is sitting in that brush pile and you miss your cast because you can't see exactly where to cast, they've already seen that bait go down. And then you reel it in, you throw it again, boom. They've seen that bait 3 times before you actually put it in front of them. If you're blind casting, where if forward facing sonar, you're able to put it like right in the sweet spot and you get a little bit of an element of surprise. But they're educated, man. They're definitely smart.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how long they're going to continue to bite the koiki or the urchin style baits. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Yeah, but back to kind of what you were saying about the industry and the baits, other baits kind of going by the wayside. You know, there's still little windows where you can throw a spinner bait. You can, chatterbait seems to be consistent. Of most of the moving baits, a chatterbait seems to just get bite. It's not as good as it was like 4 or 5 years ago, but you can still catch fish on chatterbait. But some of that stuff's a lot harder to catch fish on.
And you know, like, even when, I'm not to put my buddy on blast, but like my buddy Shane, I'm sure he had a horrible tournament in North Carolina where Christie won. Christie wasn't really getting that many bites, but he had to run a long way.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, the guy in 97th, he was throwing the urchin style bait too. He just didn't find the fish the guy that finished in the top 10 found.
Yep.
So now it's to a point where if everybody's throwing it, well, that's what it's going to be won on. Kind of like if you say you can only throw a frog, well, it's going to be won on a frog.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
And then there's stuff like you got to pay attention to, if you are able to look at them, let's say like in a BFL or a Toyota series or a BPT event,
right,
where you've only got 3 hours of forward facing sonar and then you cut it off. You got to really pay attention to how you're working the bait to get the fish to react to it. So when you turn that off, you've seen enough from the fish, how they're responding to a certain bait, that you still got the confidence to throw that bait and know that you're working it right. You see what I'm saying? Because you've seen, we had, like, Drew Gill was on here one time and he was talking about, he was fishing a Nico rig around docks, and in practice he would skip his little Nico rig out there and it would fall and the fish would come over at it and let the Nico rig just go to the bottom, and then the fish would nose down on it, and then it would swim back over to its dock post and sit there for a little bit. But if he let that worm just sit there for 20-30 seconds without really moving it, the fish would start getting curious again and it would come over, and a lot of times he would get that. See, he was paying attention to what he was doing and what that fish was doing. Where if you just threw it out there and it fall and the fish nose down on it and you reel it in and go to the next one, you're not going to catch near as many fish. So whenever he was in that non-scope period, he knew that if he just threw his Nico rig out, let it fall, and just waited 20, 30 seconds, that was the presentation that the fish were going to pick up, because he was paying attention to how the fish were responding to his bait. That's like the little juice inside the juice that you got to pay attention to.
Do you remember when Corbishley won the MPFL at Hartwell, Mike Corbishley?
Yeah.
Yeah. He told me, I asked him or something. I was like, congrats. You didn't think you did good. Like, he was mad the first day. I still remember because we were both coming in. And he was like, you could tell he was frustrated. I'm like, Mike, you did fine. You had 12 pounds. He's like, yeah, but I'm like way out of it. And he ended up winning the tournament. But he told me if he wouldn't have ate a sandwich, he wouldn't have won that tournament. He said I can't even remember what his bait is. And I'm not even going to say that way. He won't be mad at me. Whatever he threw out there, he let it fall. While it's falling, he goes and starts eating a sandwich because he was hungry. And then he noticed that by him taking the time to eat the sandwich, back to your Drew Gill thing, when he went to pick it up, there was a fish on it. And he's like, well, I should do that again. And then that's how and that happened on day 2 and 3. And then he pretty much won the Hartwell tournament. And it was all based on how long he let it lay on the bottom.
Interesting.
I was
on a water bottle pattern last winter, because I'm shooting content all the time, so I can go back and watch how I caught a fish. But there was like 3 or 4 times on several trips where I was fishing a jerkbait, and I throw the jerkbait out, jerk it, and then I'd reach down and I always have a bottle of water sitting on my front deck. Reach down and grab my bottle of water, I'd take the cap off of it, take a drink, and then my line would jump, and I have to set my water bottle down. But that it was kind of like I called it the water bottle pattern, because it happened multiple times during trips. And same thing, sometimes there's certain things you do that make you slow down. And if you didn't do that, you never would have known that that's what you should be doing.
My theory on jerkbait, the warmer the water, the quicker you jerk it. The colder the water, the longer the pause. And then you just got stuff in between. That's the general thumb. But a lot of those guys, you figure out that cadence, and then you catch them. Which they're figuring out that cadence by looking at a screen now.
Yeah, and I think
that's what I'm saying. You can look at the screen and see how it's reacting, so you figure out the cadence quicker.
Right. But if you're really paying attention, you can apply that to when you're not looking at the screen too. If you're in a format where you can't use forward-facing sonar. It's interesting. Yeah, Rich was saying you don't need scope to minnow, or
they used to scope without. You used to. Well, we used to use our view. Like, you guys ever use the Hopkins spoon, or now people use the flutter spoon or the Ben Parker spoon or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, like the little Hopkins spoon?
Yeah.
We used to catch them just using down imaging. 2D. Like, you would see it fall on the, just regular old standard sonar. Mm-hmm. And you would see the arc shoot up at your spoon.
Johnny says, with all the technology on the front of the boat, I believe we condition ourselves to fish faster because we can see schools of fish. That's 100% true. You can, if you cast out there and you jerk it a couple times and there's no fish that come up off the bottom, why would you continue to work it all the way back to the boat? That's one of the mental sides of let's just say jerkbait fishing with and without forward facing sonar. You feel like if you're not looking out there, you feel like you're just making a lot of wasted cast, which if your whole goal is to just only catch fish, it is less efficient. You are casting around. You don't really know. You don't know if anything's following it, because you can sit there and look at a fish with forward facing sonar. There's so many times where fish are coming up to our bait and we almost got a bite, and we didn't know that before forward facing sonar. It's been going on forever.
Now I come home like I played with it today, the forward facing sonar, but it's been 2 months since I've had it hooked up, because we have to do the the lock system.
Okay.
And then I was fishing NPFL, and I fished a couple opens, and one of the opens, it was like I had back to back, where it was an open where you couldn't use it, and then the next NPFL, and then another NPFL. So I hadn't had mine hooked up in like 3 months, it got to the point where I forgot about forward facing sonar.
Uh-huh.
Like I forgot it was even a thing. I was all back to normal, you know. I say normal, regular fishing, I guess.
Yeah.
And now I'm back out to trying it again. And then when I go to Logan next week, we can't use it. So I don't know if it's giving me, but I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. Like, how do I want to see how they're reacting when I'm doing this quickie thing. So then I can copy it. And you know what I found? The fish I caught, I wasn't even looking at the screen. I just flipped it out there and they bit it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's because I didn't have the thing turned on them in the beam. I don't know.
Yeah, I always try to turn anytime I'm up shallow, especially in a rocky impoundment. I try to turn I'll turn my transmission off. Yeah, I do. I don't know that it helps, but to me it does. It makes sense. But heck, there's so much noise out there now. People, the fish are. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen them when you shine that beam on them, they go down. But
I've got to the point, Gabe. If that's the only way you can catch a fish, I don't like fishing. If that's how you have to do it, I just don't. I can do it, and I gotta get better at it, but I just don't enjoy doing it.
No,
to me, you lose the anticipation. It's like riding a roller coaster over and over and over, and you don't have to wait in line.
Yep.
The reason the roller coaster is fun is because you have to wait 20 minutes until you get on because you're thinking about. So when you throw your bait out there, am I going to get a bite? Am I not going to get a bite? You've taken all that. I don't know. In my opinion.
And you got to be 48 inches tall too to ride a roller coaster.
That's true. And you got to have good eyes to see that freaking screen in that little blip. And that's probably why the old guys don't like it. We can't see it. I can't see it half the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, man. I'll go.
I didn't mean to get in that, turn that shell up again.
No, it's fun, man. I'll get out there and I'll catch my fair share of fish off the bank looking at them, but then I'll slide in. I'll throw a chatterbait.
Yeah.
I'll flip a jig for a while. Throw a frog. I like to catch them all different kinds of ways. I get bored if I'm only fishing like one style, one technique.
Yeah.
I get bored. To me, fishing is going out and experimenting and see if you can catch them like. You kind of start catching them one way, then can you catch them a different way? I just like playing around out there. Well, let's now that we got that out of the way, let's slide into some glide bait talk, man.
Which is actually a forward facing sonar bait. You can catch them with forward facing sonar,
but you don't have to have it either.
But you don't either. It's actually the best of both worlds. You could throw it down a dock and they come out and eat it, or you could throw it out in open water and watch them come up and eat it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of drawing power because they're typically bigger than average baits, and the fish get curious. And see what it is.
I'm trying to figure out how to put quickie tentacles on a glide bait. Just all the little.
Well, I was thinking
that'll probably be the next thing.
your treble hook deal. I was thinking, a feathered treble hook. When do we start putting a feather on there to slow it down? To give it like additional flair. There's a lot of.
I've already put spinnerbait blades on it.
I know there's gonna be all kinds of weird things.
Yeah,
extra skirt material you could run through it.
I was looking at. I was trying to figure out how to make another homemade one. I know we're back. You said glide bait. Now I'm talking about the old Zoom spinnerbait trailers. The twin tail. Yeah, I'm talking about the long. What are they? They call it?
It's called split tail, I believe, isn't it?
Split tail. I thought you said twin tail, but split tail. Those tentacles are about that size.
That's right, they are.
I was looking at the other day. I was like, man, I could take scissors because I bought it. Hear me out on this, Gabe. I'm giving you guys tips on how to make your own quickies.
Some juice.
I bought I was going to use it just for this because I'm like trying to figure out, but now I don't have to because everybody's going to be making them. But bourbon glasses, like the bourbon ice ball, like a perfect spear of an ice ball for a glass of bourbon or any kind of whiskey drink. Amazon sells the I guess this thing that you can pour. It makes the perfect spear, like what is it? Like an ice tray that makes a round ball.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, it's made out of rubber. Well, that rubber is the stuff that you need that won't stick to the stuff that when you pour that stuff in it, it's not going to stick to it because most of my molds are made out of the same rubber. because like edible foods and all that, they use the same kind of stuff. When I'm pouring my glide baits and all that, or pouring soft plastic, it won't stick to this kind of rubber. So you make a perfect ball, then you stick those split tails through it, and you made your own without making a mold, I guess. So you can just buy the perfect spear on Amazon, pour the soft plastic in it, and then start stuffing stuff through it. Because that mold, that quickie mold is actually kind of complicated if you've ever seen them. I'm talking about ways to do it at home.
Yeah, what would that be?
And
called?
not the skirt, not, because they've already got the little dice baits out there where people have stuck needles in the skirts. Yeah, I'm saying stick that long plastic through it. I don't know. It's something with the tentacles that I think was what's drawing it.
Oh, it's definitely the tentacles, and it's that it moves forward.
Yeah, that
pops really fast.
The pop,
and then just does all this weirdness. Just like they can't help it. What is that?
But I got you sidetracked. You're talking about glide baits,
and I wanted to do like just kind of a progression from. I got a couple questions down here, and the first one was like, how did you get into bait making?
I started in 2000 and maybe it's 2003, 2004, somewhere around that time. Long time ago. Before the last time the Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. I was on eBay, or my buddy, I had a preacher friend that took me to a tackle store. It's local here in North Carolina. And I went in there, and the lady, Mr. Fleming was his name, and his daughter-in-law was kind of artistic, and she was custom painting shad wrap, like number 7s and number 8s and number 9s. And she did some, I think the DTs just, I can't remember exactly when don't hold me to this if you're a really tackle novice, but she might have been painting some DT 10s and DT 8s and DT 6s. So I don't really know exactly when they came out, but it was about that time they had just come out. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Can you paint some of mine? And I asked her how much she'd charge. And when she told me the price, I was like, man, I was going to bring her like 50 baits. Man, that cost me a lot of money, to get those painted.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell her that because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I had no clue how long it took to redo it, even a simple repaint, let alone building a bait. You just think, well, that can't take that long. 10 seconds. They just spray some paint on it. No, it's really complicated. Just a simple repaint takes you about an hour and a half just per bait. I mean, time you take the hook, sand it, do all that. But anyway, I went to Hobby Lobby, bought an airbrush, said I'm going to try it on my own. Back then, we didn't have Facebook, but we had forums. Do you remember the just regular old web forums?
Like Bass Boat Central?
Like Bass Boat Central was one. There you go, when it was a forum. I looked on Google how to make lures or how to paint baits or something on there, and I found a forum called Tackle Underground. Thank you. Yeah, Tackle Underground. Pretty sure it was the name of the forum. Is that right? Or is that a Facebook group? I'm getting old now.
It could be both. I don't know. Maybe
I'm pretty sure it was called Tackle Underground. And it was a forum, and it was a whole bunch of guys. Like now I'm in my 50s. At the time, I was in my 30s. So it was a bunch of guys like me now that had 25 years of experience. Like I've got over 25, probably, 20, I don't even know, 21, 22 years of experience that were, hey, how do I paint a bait? Get some sandpaper, scuff it with 400 grit, wash it off, take alcohol and get don't touch it with your fingers. They were giving me tips on how to do this. And then I'd ask them, and then I'd go do something, and then I'd have a bubbling issue. Hey, I had a bubbling issue. Why is this? Did you use lacquer paint? What kind of clear were you? And so these guys were like there to help you in a forum, kind of like, what is it? Is it called Reddit?
Yeah, Reddit.
What's that? It's like Reddit, I guess, right. The same thing.
Right. Okay.
Well, then after over time, then I finally paint one, and then I post a picture, and they're like, "Man, you're really good at that." Like they saw my talent, I guess. They're like, "Man, that's beautiful. That's pretty dang good, kid." And I'm like, thanks, you guys helped me a lot, and then you build up a rapport with some of these guys every night, talking to them, and then I got to be friends with a few of them, and then I started posting some of my repaints on eBay, and one of the first ones I put on there, I put the auction at 99 cents, and it went for like $120. It was something stupid.
Really?
Yes, and I was like, man, I never knew I could do this. And so then I just started doing. I was like, man, I can make some side money. Take this money and buy my tackle, and that's kind of how I got started. I just did repaints. And to tell you the truth, the other person that was on there doing it with me was Casey. I don't know his last name. He owns 6 Cents. Casey started as a custom painter in a garage, and we both were on eBay about the same time.
Huh.
He later went on to make a giant company because he got hooked up with a factory somewhere. And I'm still in the same garage 20 years later. But I'd
Right.
rather fish and have a lot. I don't care about being huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
that's how I got started, just doing repaints. And then later on, I went into picking up wood, and I found out, hey, man, I can carve, and I made my own designs. And then it just snowballed. Now it's back to technology. It's way easier for these kids to start now because they can just get on a computer and type it in on on a program and have a 3D printer print it out. I had the guys back in 2000s and the 70s, 80s, and we had to actually carve our designs out and then try to duplicate them. So that's just technology.
you
Pretty soon
carve.
AI is going to do all this for you. If
Oh
you
yeah.
don't know how to do CAD, you
Mhm.
probably just type it in and tell it what you want, and they'll create it for you.
Where'd the name Tater Hog come from?
Tater Hog, a lot of people that it was a church cookbook. My wife was reading off some recipes and was kind of laughing, like, hey, should we make this tomorrow night? And she said, tater nugget hog dish. And I was like, oh, that's it. I'm a big sports fan. When you hit a home run, it's a tater, right? It's another word for home run was called a tater.
Really? I
When
never
you
heard of
catch,
that.
you never heard of that?
Oh, that must be a Carolina thing.
It's a baseball term, like hitting taters, and
Getting tatered. Okay.
a tater is another name for a home run
Okay.
or
Gotcha.
taking them deep. You look it
Yeah.
up, it'll,
Going yard. Yeah.
yeah, going yard, hitting a tater. So a tater's a home run in baseball. It's a slang name for, believe me on this. And then you catch a big hog, it's a hog.
Sure.
It's a home run hog, tater hog. So I make baits to catch really giant fish, like a bigger than normal. Plus it's easy, it's redneck, it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
The main reason was it's funny, and it's easy to remember.
And everybody
And
likes
that's
potatoes.
half of the battle in marketing.
Everybody likes potatoes and steak.
Yeah, yeah. The problem is everybody calls me hog farmer. And everybody calls hog farmer Tater.
Really?
We actually met each other at the classics. Like, man, people call me your name all the time. I'm like, they do the same thing to me too.
That's funny.
I was like, I don't make A-rigs. He does.
Yeah. You're a father, not a farmer.
Yeah, I'm a father, not a farmer.
Then okay, so what about the testing process? Like, if back in the day you're carving out, you carving out of what, balsa, cedar? What you start?
I've carved a few of my blanks out of cedar, but cedar's like really hard. It's hard to carve in sand. It's doable, but it's hard. Balsa is really soft and it's the easiest to carve. And I do a lot of the shaping, a lot of those details with my fingernails and then sandpaper. Like I keep it simple. I just use a hobby knife and get the general shape. And then I use the sandpaper to really shape it. Like if it looks off here. And even to this day, if you guys really looked at my baits, you would see like one eyeball is just a little bit lower than another. And it's just because I'm not a computer. I'm not perfect. Like,
Yeah, right.
believe it or not, when Strike King took my original Hog Father, they scanned it. And I even told Shane that works there that did all the 3D stuff in the CAD. I said, dude, level that eyeball. It's been bugging me for years because my original is kind of off a little. And then he fixed it in the computer. You know what I mean? And it's just cosmetic. It had nothing to do. It's still swim. The one that's like that, they swim perfect either way. But it's just cosmetic. And it's partly because most artists, I'm probably right eye dominant. It's like every time I make a moonshiner, I always have to tune it this direction. I don't know what. I make them all the same, but I'm always bending the eye tie when I'm done. And I don't know if it's when I'm gluing the lip in, if it's just this eye strong. I don't know. It's weird.
Huh.
But that's the beauty of like handmade baits aren't perfect. And sometimes that imperfection is what makes it bounce off to the right or to the left. And that's what causes the strike. That's why everybody wanted the original wiggle wart. The mold itself was off. So that's why the wiggle warts hunt. Well, when Rapella bought it from Storm, they fixed the mold, which is what they shouldn't have done. They should have left it alone. They fixed it so it'd run more true. Well, nobody wants the new wiggle warts. They want the old wiggle warts because it was an imperfection that caused it to hunt. So sometimes being perfect is not what you want. Sometimes you want to
if
be
it ain't broke, don't fix it. How many times
right.
you heard that?
Sometimes the imperfection is what makes it catch fish.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what about ABS, like the plastic versus the resin baits? What kind of different, what's the pros and cons of both of those materials?
Probably the for resin's denser, so it's probably going to glide a little farther. I guess it'd be like the difference in you guys ever had like a really heavy bass boat and then really like a aluminum boat? And you know how sometimes you're trying to slow that on your trolling motor. All of us have done that. We're trying to slow our boat down, but dang, I'm in this 21-foot Ranger and I was just in a Bass Track last week, aluminum, and I can stop on a dime. So I guess it's just like resin's denser. So when it's gliding, it's going to glide farther.
Okay.
In the water. When it's like if you pop it, it's going to go over here, and you pop it, it's going to go over here, just because of the density. That's the main. But both of them are going to swim like. To tell you the truth, they did really good on the action. Like the actual Hog Father Strike Kings version is very similar to my version. The difference might be probably the biggest difference is Gabe is if you said, Matt, I really want my Hog Father to sink 4 seconds a foot, or I can manually adjust mine versus these two halves are put together. About the only adjustment we can do is change the hooks and the splits or add some spin dots to make it sink faster. I can literally start from scratch and say, hey, do you want it to sink like, because I know how to put weight in certain places because it's solid. So I could drill in it, add weight here, drill here, and add weight here and change it to make it a little more custom, I guess. But as far as the action goes, they're both pretty similar. My original probably glides a little farther, and that's just because ABS, it's got that air inside it because it's two halves put together with the weight, where mine is just solid, more like wood. Where resin is just a solid thing, which then we're putting a mixture of stuff to, because pure resin actually sinks. So guys are putting fillers in their resin to make it float. Which I could make it the density of balsa, but then it's brittle and it'll break.
It's got too much air in it, too many air pockets.
Well, the more filler you put in it, it weakens resin. It's like a catch-22. Like it's almost like the difference in a thin wire spinner bait and a thick wire spinner bait. Old timers love a thin wire spinner bait because of the vibration. It catches more fish, but it might tear up after 12 fish, right? Where you put a thick wire spinner bait on it, it might last you for 6 years and you never break the wire. But old timers will tell you the thinner wire will catch more than the thicker wire, right?
Yep.
So that's the difference that a lot of us are doing that make resin baits. We're putting a mixture that gives it the filler gives it buoyancy, and then the weight pulls it down, and that buoyancy with the weight is what keeps it balanced. And you can make it to where it swims, so good you can't blow it out, blah, 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 blah. But if you hit something, it breaks in half because it's weak, because you had to put so much buoyancy in it to get it to be stable. So you're trying to make it durable and swim. I can make it swim awesome and not durable too. You can go the other way to where it swims even better, but it's not durable.
Yeah, right.
So that's your cat. That's what you're trying to. There's a fine where I can make it where you can't break it at all, and you can take a sledgehammer to it. But guess what? It'll sink like a rock and it's not going to swim. And then so over the years of doing it with just trial and error, you start realizing, okay, if I'm making this bait, this is my mixed ratio. For a top water bait, I can do this. For a crankbait, I can do this because crankbait's only this big and it doesn't, you can beat it to death and it doesn't break that often. I don't know if I'm answering your.
No, you nailed it.
ABS for factories, it's just faster. Once they get the mold, it's chunk, the pieces to put together. It's just a quicker process.
And a price point. You can get
it's a lower price point. It's just a higher volume. When there's a higher volume, there's less demand. It's supply. It's really simple economics, supply and demand. Most of the reason why a lot of us were selling glide baits for $200-$300, you couldn't find them. Same reason why Koikis right now are $300 on eBay because nobody can get their hands on them. Fast forward 10 years later on the glide baits, now everybody's making them. Like they're a lot more available than they were 10 years ago.
That reminds me of like a rod. A manufacturer can make a rod so light that you can't even tell that it's in your hand. But the first time you set the hook on a fish, it's going to snap because it's just there's a balance between lightness and durability, and you got to find that sweet spot. If you go too, if you thin the walls too much, it's going to be super light, super sensitive, but it's not going to be durable. It's going to it's going to break after a couple fish. And on the opposite end, if you thicken it up to where you cannot break it at all, it's heavy, and you can't even feel a catfish bite it. It's kind of a balance. I like the John boat versus the glass boat analogy though, as far as the glide.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't. And there's a day they'll bite the John boat, and there's a day they won't touch the glass boat. Mm-hmm. But then there's another day they're all over the glass boat and they don't want the John. Like one day they really want it to glide far, and the next day they just want the quick chop. Really, the chop thing's kind of new. Like that didn't come around when I started making these glide baits. People wanted them to see how far they would go. It was all about how far they would glide. The chop thing came along about 5 years ago, 10 years, maybe 6, 7, 8, where right, left, right, left, down. Now they don't even talk about the glide anymore. They talk about how good does it chop.
Yeah.
I go back and forth on it, kind of. That's probably why really the main reason why Strike King wanted the Hog Father Jr. for me was it's really versatile. It chops and glides. It kind of does both and doesn't blow out at any speed. It's hard to make it blow out.
So how did that come about? Like
I don't know. I'm lucky.
I think the last time you were on here, it was just starting to happen. Like I can't remember. It seems like you couldn't really talk about it.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know if I already told you. Well, basically, I thought you meant how did I get that action? I was like, I don't know. It just happened. That's what I meant. Like I just carved it and it worked. And I was like, man, this is cool.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what I'm doing. No, they called I want to say in 2023. I think timing, it's kind of like in life. Sometimes it's like I kind of know, I kind of am self-taught, and had a lot of experience doing it. But I was also one of the first ones on the Southeast, like on the East Coast to do it. Like glides baits were kind of big in the, the West Coast. But like, so being first, kind of like, how did Joe Rogan have the #1 podcast? Was he one of the first podcasts out there?
Right.
Yep. I mean, his podcast is good, but realistically, if he started today, right now, would he be the #1 podcast?
Right. Like Tactical Bassin. It's really solid, but they were
but they were one of the first. Like when I started, people know, I tell people all the time, and I'm friends with Mike, but I started before Buka. Buka's more known probably than I am because he got an article written in FLW magazine probably before I did, and that kind of took him off. For me, my break was when Zaldane was throwing the Hog Father on Bass Live for a national break. People locally knew who I was, and then that kind of gave it some exposure. Well, then I'm here in North Carolina. Well, one of Strike King's offices is in Columbia, South Carolina, which is only about an hour away. Well, then the guys that worked there started seeing stuff on Facebook in our little area. Dang, Tater's bait just won this, or I won this, or this guys are catching them on this, or then they started seeing like how they're selling. Then they got one of them was my friend. He bought one. He bought other glide baits from other people. Then the CEO of Strike King comes up to Dalton and says, "Dalton, I want a glide bait. Really need a glide bait." And he's like, I got a guy we need to call. Tater makes the best glide bait. And that's what he told the Strike King CEO. And then they bought 50 glide baits, put them in a test tank, tested them. This is what somebody told me. And they said mine was the best. Then they called me on the phone and said, hey, would you be interested in doing a collaboration? And then I was like, man, do I want to do this? I'm like, I'm doing all right, just doing it. And I was like, man, I'm going back and forth. And then I'm like, man, I'm 50. If I don't do it, I wonder what happened. You know what I mean? I was like, what the heck? Let's try it. So then we did but this negotiation stuff started in 2023. And then I signed the contract in 2024. And then it got put back a year. Like it was supposed to come out in 2024, but it didn't come out until 2025. And that whole time I couldn't really tell anybody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it got into fruition, I guess. Is that the right word? I'm tired. I don't even know if
it came to.
That's how it came to be. It's mostly because I wasn't far from there. I was actually friends with one of the guys that worked there. He had my baits, and the CEO said and then collabs were kind of like the KGB collab was popular. Buka did his. So I think people were versus just stealing my design and copying it. They would rather have me on board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
That's kind of how I think it.
That's a polite way of getting you.
Well, no, but it didn't give me credit, which is it's the right way to do it too.
It is, yeah.
I mean, being honest, you really shouldn't copy somebody's work. You shouldn't have to have patents and all this in America. Right. I mean, you do, but you really shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Like these guys shouldn't be copying the original Quickie.
Yeah, everybody's got one now.
They're doing it, but it's not right, in my opinion. You don't copy someone else's work at school. It was always frowned upon, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not against the law. It's just unethical. And I guess I've never lived to where I guess I have ethics.
Well, it's like everything else. So many people start doing it over and over that it becomes a norm.
They think it's right. It's not right.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing as cutting somebody off when they're fishing. That's not right. It's not against the law. I don't own the lake. It's just not right.
Or when the right lane's when you're on a 2-lane highway and this is we got traffic we got a road construction on the way to work, but you're sitting there. The sign says right lane closed ahead. Then it says merge to the left lane, and you're sitting in the left lane with all these other cars. And then here comes some jack wagon runs all the way up to the front. That's not right. Just because you can do it, it ain't right. No. You're basically running up there with your pants down. Everybody sees what you're doing. And some people won't let you in. And then there's a nice truck driver, and this happened on the way home from work. I love this guy. He gets in the right lane and he stays right there so nobody can pass from behind.
Yeah.
He just hogs up that lane.
Well, they know that keeps the traffic going.
Exactly. Because every time that car runs up, everybody's put their brakes on, and then it backs up, and it keeps backing up, and nobody's going anywhere. Where if you just relax and let it all flow, it would be just fine. And I love the truck driver that did that. I hold a space open right in front of him. I just stay right there with him. Whenever he decides to get over, I flash my lights, and we just roll out. But I like that guy, whoever he is. Shout out to the truck driver on the highway.
Shout out to the truckers.
So was that so that Strike King when that all happened, that had to be like a new learning experience for you, because you've been doing
dude. I was kind of nervous because I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. Actually, the only person I had to call, I called Thrift. Thrift actually helped me with my contract.
Really?
Because I was like, I've never done a bait deal. I don't know how this goes. So the only person I knew that I was like, well, damn, Thrift's probably done a bunch of these. You know what I mean? You're thinking somebody that like that.
it's been in the industry.
Yeah, it's been in the industry, and it's like, how do I go about this? And then you learn a lot, and then you just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
I
So you had to
guess.
come up with colors. Did they want like a certain amount of
Well,
colors, or how does that work?
they took I think we had 7 colors, and I painted 5 of them, 6 of them. They took, like I told them, like bone's popular. I mean, it's pretty simple for me. Over the years, I would experiment, but if I had 10 bone done, they'd be gone. And if I did my little full ones, they'd be gone. But whenever I do like a one-off, like a weird color or something, it would take me a little longer to sell that one color. But I think now they have 7 colors. So the most popular color is bone, that OG gizzard. Spot remover's been a big seller. Their other ghost gizzards is a good seller. I'll give Mike Russell credit. He did 2 of the colors. 2 of the colors Mike actually painted, and I approved because he's a painter for him. I don't know if you know Mike.
Oh, I know Mike really very.
Yeah,
one of my
yeah.
questions is, I was wondering if you'd had.
Yeah, like that one's mine. Mike did the.
Is that one of your colors?
Yeah, that's one. I'm trying to see. Like,
let me see.
That's the OG gizzard. Probably the 2 most popular colors for me over the years were bone and OG gizzard. And then when they did the other one, they're trying to match one of my foil. Like, then Mike did the real gill in that one.
Was that a foil? Was that a foil match right there?
No, they're trying. That's just the goat. That's like a transparent, like a translucent one. That's just like a herring color. That's a popular herring color, like on Hartwell. Real clear green water. That would be a good color at I would think at Ozarks.
Ozarks, yeah.
Yeah. But so then when I got my blanks, I started painting what you said you saw recently. I did like, we don't have a perch or we didn't have a baby bass. So I started putting colors on it that's not available.
Let me see here.
That's called spot remover. That was one of theirs. That was one of Dalton's requests, was the spot remover. I think that's like a staple color for Strike King.
Yeah, I like I mean, a lot of these colors are they're pretty universal. I mean, like they would work in a lot of different,
jerk bait colors are what's going to work good on a glide bait.
Yeah. And I mean, you got to, like you said, you got to
like,
have
I've thought about doing Table Rock. Like, I probably should do like a Table Rock glide bait, because Table Rock is one of my favorite jerk bait colors.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. The chrome herring, okay.
The chrome is, that's kind of supposed to be like my foil.
Gotcha. It looks good. Yeah, I was looking at some of your custom jobs, and it's pretty amazing, man. See if I can pull any of this stuff up. I need to have 2 monitors. It'd be nice. Then I'd get confused.
How long have you been on YouTube doing this?
Too long. I've been doing these live streams for probably like 5 or 6 years, something like that. I've been taking a break, and I'm just starting to get back.
Well, was it kind of like if you were one of the first, it was easier to get followers, and now if you try to start, it's harder for someone than it was 10 years ago?
Oh yeah, there's definitely something to it. I mean, I started a little bit later too, but there's yeah, and then you got to get more clickbaity to bring people. You got to a controversial topic, you just freaking hammer home on it, but you gotta have something of value too. And then there's guys that just talk about fishing news, just whatever. This person got disqualified, or this guy, these 3 anglers didn't make it to the 2027 Classic, and
people want drama.
Yeah, people want drama.
It's sad, but that's the truth.
It's the world we live in. Let me see. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna pull up your Facebook real quick.
Mine varies on Facebook because I'm always like trying to come up with content. Everybody's like, you don't post enough. You don't post enough. I'm like, man, I don't know what to post.
Yeah, there's just some custom colors. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
We're good. Like a perch color.
Those are some, I did some transparent. Well, I painted a real perch, and then KVD commented on one of my posts. He's like, we need a transparent. And I was like, well, if KVD says we need a transparent, then I'm going to paint a transparent. So there we go.
KVD talks, people listen.
Yes. Yeah. That was my first perch. And then if you go on my, I think it was on Instagram. He follows me on Instagram, so he usually comments on my Instagram. So then I said, oh, if KVD wants it, KVD's going to get it. I'm actually going to bring him on an iCast when I see him. If he's
That's
there.
a good one around the mayfly, maybe.
Yeah, that's my prop bait. Or yeah, buzz bait. Or I said buzz bait, prop bait. It's called Buzz Hog.
Buzz Hog. Yeah, you guys get time out there. Get on his Instagram, and he's got a bunch of good stuff, a bunch of good colors, cool stuff.
Yeah, I need to make something new. It's been a few years since I made a new design now. Keep trying to think of something.
I was going to ask you if you got anything in the works.
I don't know. I got old design. There's been times I've gone out there and pulled out an old design, from 2003. Like, heck, back in 2003, I was making little tiny glide baits. Like, 2000. I think it's 2006. I made like a mini jointed bait, which would be like a mini glide. Well, people back then were like, "That's not a swim bait. It's too big. It's too little." They wanted the giant. Now you fast forward. Now they want little tiny micro glides, and I'm like, "Dang, I was ahead of my time." I was doing that in 2006, and they thought I was.
Yeah.
They were knocking me. That's not a glide bait. That's not a swim bait. It's too small. You not remember that? All the California guys, they wanted the giant 12-inch trout.
Oh, yeah. Bigger. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, they were mad when they called the first Kitech swim baits. They're like, those aren't swim baits.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you this. What was it like the first time that you went into a store and you saw a bait that was your bait, somewhat? You saw it on the rack. Was there a time where the first time you walk in and saw something like at Academy or Bass Pro Shops or wherever?
I went over to, I think first time, well, people were sending me text messages and stuff like, "Hey, I was at this tackle store." And I was like, man, this one little tiny tackle store was like one of the first texts I got. And I was like, man, I thought, because I knew it was going to be at Bass Pro because they kind of told me, and I knew it was going to be on Amazon and Academy and some of the big manufactured decks. And then I kept going to my Concord store. I was like, man, when are they going to get it? Because I literally live like 3 miles from Bass Pro Shops here in Concord, which is close to, if anybody's a NASCAR fan, I'm probably 3 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Or well, I don't know what it's named now. They've got, but it's basically where they race the Charlotte race.
You can smell the
yeah, I can hear the cars outside. But I go to Bass Pro all the time. I was checking on it, and finally one night, somebody told me, I got a buddy that works there, and he's like, "Hey, they got your baits in." So then I went in. I think I did a video with my wife. It was kind of cool. It was kind of neat to see your bait, like, because of all the years of going in there and buying supplies. Because I'd buy my hooks, I'd go back in the fly shop and buy stuff that I use to make some of these baits, and never thinking I'd ever make it. And that's part of the other reason I never could make enough. I turned so many tackle stores down because I couldn't make enough to support the tackle store and keep up with my own orders. So that's why most of my stuff you can only get from me, because I never can make enough to get them in stores. So then I did the Strike King deal. I was like, well, this is a cool design. They're going to make enough, and then everybody can have it. They're not going to have to pay me as much money as, for me to hand make it. So it was kind of a win. I'm going to get some money and not have to do any work. Yeah. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody, in my mind.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and it is kind of cool. They didn't come to me for my fishing ability. I know that. People are like, "How'd he get a deal of striking?" Because I made a bait. That's how.
Well, you worked, man. You worked. You've been grinding
Yeah,
for
20 some
20
years,
years.
like a long time. I finally got a break.
Yeah.
But but it could have been as simple as if I didn't know Dalton. That's why I say life is about.
Yep. Timing and right
I
place,
mean,
right time.
I guess I'm not trying to sell myself short. I had the talent to do this to make baits.
Right.
But I also was lucky that I knew a guy that worked for Strike King.
Yeah.
This guy called this and said, "Hey," and he thought, "Yeah, his bait is good. Let's get a hold of him. I'm friends with him. I got a relationship." That's kind of how stuff works. And some of the pros in fishing, they got a. I heard a story about my buddy Andy Montgomery was fishing the BFL, and I heard this from someone else. So this could be false, but I'm pretty sure it's true.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I'll say allegedly, and I'll ask Andy next time I see him. He was fishing in a BFL, and his co-angler was the owner of the Fishers or somebody high up in Fishers of Men, the Christian, fishing league. Do you guys have those out there?
Uh, I don't fish any of them, but yeah, there's some. I think there's some in Kentucky.
Have you heard of Fishers of
Yes.
Men now?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
100%.
All right. He was so nice, helped him out, didn't cut him off. You know how you hear horror stories being co-angler with a pro?
Yeah.
Andy was so nice that he sponsored him, and that's what kickstarted his career
From a
years
BFL.
ago. And he's still with them to this day.
Really?
But it was because and he generally is a super nice person, you know what I mean? It wasn't fake or anything like that. But then
Cool
he just was,
too.
but what if he doesn't draw that guy? This is what I'm trying to say. Now maybe he draws somebody else later on and is nice, or it's meant to be, I guess. I don't know. But that's
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying about life and in general. There's
I
more
have
luck in it than what people realize.
right, and I think it's it could be luck, but maybe it's supposed
Not,
to be
I'm
like
not
that.
saying luck timing, I guess. The
Yeah.
right timing. I
Right.
don't know.
Well,
That's I'm not knocking. That sounds like I'm knocking. I'm not knocking that. No, I'm
no.
saying being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of bands out there that they get popular, and then somebody will say, "Well, it must be nice. You're just out playing in a bar, and some record executive is at the show, and they pick you up, and then next thing you know, you're a overnight success." Well, they don't know that band's been grinding on the road for like 12 or 15
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
They've been doing work. They were prepared, when
Well,
luck is opportunity and hard work come together, and it's not sometimes as it appears to be, but that's cool. No, I agree with you. It's a lot of it's when that opportunity presents itself, you got to be able to back it up.
yeah, and you back. Well, the guy we were talking about, we started out with the hockey. The goalie for, I don't know if you guys watched any of it, but the Carolina Hurricanes goalie, the Brandon Bussey guy, he was just picked up. He's 27 years old. He was too old to be a rookie this year, but I think Boston picked him up. Never really gave him a chance at Boston, but Boston just happened to waive him, and he was going back to the AHL when Carolina decided to call him and try him. And if Boston doesn't waive him, they probably are eventually going to cut him. Then Carolina picks him up and adds him to their roster as the third goalie, and then he goes on to win 31 games, and before you know it, he's won the Stanley Cup. The year before that, they said he was working at Chipotle. But I'm saying it's like all these factors had to happen.
Yeah.
Plus, then he just won the Stanley Cup. Well, they're saying Frederick Anderson got hurt. That's the reason that he went in to be good the last 3 games to win that. So, but he is good. So that's where I'm saying you have to have some luck too.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Fishing is like that too. I'm telling you.
It is.
Some of these guys are really good, but some of them are on a roll right now. And in 5 years, then they're going to be unlucky, is what I'm trying to say. So you don't really, it kind of comes in waves.
Yeah. There's a lot of momentum in fishing.
There's tons of momentum.
Yeah. I mean, you could sit there in the woods and watch a point, like a main lake point that's got a channel swing, up against it. And you could watch it for 8 hours and you could see 15 guys pull in there. maybe only 2 of them guys are going to time it just right where they, they catch a couple really good quality fish off of it. It's just timing. You could call it luck. They were lucky that they happened to pull in there at that right time, but it could also just be called it's good timing. And when you got good momentum and things are going your way,
Right.
those things happen, pretty routinely and consistently, and it adds up and things are going good. Sometimes you're that guy that pulls up right behind the guy that just pulled 2 5-pounders off that point, and you can't get a bite, and you're like, what's going on? And then you go to the next point, and somebody just left that caught 5, some 5-pounders. You get on that bad rotation. Life can be like that too. You gotta fish through it.
Just fish. You're right. Until it changes for you. I guess law of averages.
Yeah. Until you turn into that really like disgruntled old man, you start cussing everybody out, and you sell all your fishing stuff. I've had several trips where I was ready to sell my fishing stuff on the way home.
I've been like that this year.
Golly. But usually you go to sleep and you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go back out and try it again.
For the life of me, I don't like just doing, because I'm doing this NPFL for fun. It's not my, I laugh when they say pro from Concord. I'm not really a pro. I make my money selling baits. But I don't know how those guys do this for a living. Like, it's hard.
It's hard work.
Like, that's the one thing I've learned in the 3 years doing it. Like, how did they do this year in and year out and pay their bills?
Yeah.
You got to catch, huh?
Being away from your family on the road and your house and all that.
But just the pressure of having to catch them every week, or you don't have any money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and even sometimes you catch them and you still don't have any money.
Well, there's a balance of, like if you're, so we all started fishing. Most of us started fishing because it was fun. It was relaxing, and we enjoyed being out there and just being out in nature and stuff. But then when that joy turns into a job where you, like you said, you got to catch them to support your family, and that's your actual job. I think it changes the dynamics of what it is that you're doing. And I don't know. Sometimes it'd be nice to be out there doing that, but other times it's nice to not be out there doing it.
Yeah, there's times that I enjoyed today because I just went and tried to learn this bait, and there was no time. I got to be in at 3 o'clock. What note number? Hey, do I go to this dock before that? None of that. You're going back to just pure fishing.
Yeah.
And there's times that, and that's what most of us fell in love with fishing way before tournaments.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then a lot of us do, team tournament where you're fishing with.
I was in, I told you, I don't know if it was on the show when I was one of the ones that got suckered into the dual threat. But I got suckered into the
last I haven't heard it.
I fished with and this is back to knowing somebody. I would have never been in it had Matt Robertson came over to my house, because he lives in North Carolina now, and he was coming by to pick something up, or his doctor's office is not far from where I live, so he said, "Oh, we've been friends for a while." He said, "I'll swing in and see you," and he just wanted to see what I'm building or just say hey. Well, then the dude that was doing the dual threat scam calls Matt and says, you still in, and Matt had already been talking to this guy, I guess. Well, then Matt starts saying, hey, you want to get in this? They need 4 more boats. And he starts telling me they're only going to have 60 boats. It's going to be on Netflix. Like, Matt's laying it on. You're going to be able to fish for free for 5 years, and you get a chance to fish for $100,000. He goes, I think I can get you and Shane LeHue in. Because Shane, I'm good friends with Shane LeHue. He's a lead angler. He said, if you and Shane will fish together. Well, me and Shane have fished together at Norman a million times. And I'm sitting here thinking, heck yeah, Shane gets a check 5 out of 6 tournaments, right? So I'm like, it's a no-brainer for me. I've been struggling traveling to all these new places. I'm going to learn a ton just being with Shane, my buddy. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. And it's free? Heck yeah. What's the scam here? It sounds too good to be true, but I kept thinking, I'm not paying anything. What's the scam?
Right.
So then we all go down to Florida, and then the rest is history. Everybody found out it was a scam. But to this day, it was the most fun I've ever had fishing any tournament ever because of the team format. I don't know, and it wasn't even real, but it was fun. That's what sucks about it. We all were mad, the guys that were in it. Not just because we got, I guess, like Shane and I finished fifth in one of the tournaments. The guy actually owed us $12,000. Well, we never saw it. Fisher and I won $100,000. He never saw it. The guy didn't have any money. And then we come to find out some of the people actually did pay before he decided to make it free. Well, those people never got their money back. Some of them paid $30,000. He just wanted us to show up so he had more people to make it look legitimate. I guess. I don't know.
So
But looking back,
you were just
somebody should do. Well, it was so much fun because it's a team. It's less stress. Someone really should do a national team trail. Like the idea was actually a good idea if someone would do it right.
Have they ever found that guy?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no clue. The dude was kind of weird. He was different. Like he's got he took all of our SD cards on the last day. And dude, there was a time I went to the bathroom and I forgot all about the freaking camera. Like I'm sitting here just going to the bathroom and I'm like, oh crap, the camera.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh well, Shane can delete it. Well, I was like, man, he can't delete it. Well, then at the end of the day, yeah, so he's got like freaking all kinds of information on all of us on these SD cards.
Yeah, don't ever run for public office.
Yeah, I probably won't.
Like I got this footage of Tater Hog peeing off the back of a boat here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like here I am and here's the camera. I mean, it's just like pointed right at me. And sometimes you just forget. Like when the GoPro runs all the time, you just forget about it.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Huh. Yeah, that was I think most people that fished that said they had a really good time.
Dude, we went to the meeting, and you've been to your meetings and stuff for you fish Toyotas and different things, right?
Right.
BFLs. We go to the meeting, the first meeting. He comes in and he's like, hey guys, I know in the rules it said we were going to practice to 1 o'clock on the last day, but since it was so windy at Okeechobee and we decided to extend the practice to 5 p.m. on the last day, do y'all want to just extend it to 5 for the rest of the tournaments? Everybody raise your hand. Yes for, or no. And we're like, yeah. And everybody raised their hand. He's like, okay, do you guys want to have a cut or do you not want to have a cut for the 3 days? Like cut to 30 and only the top 30 fish the last day and he's like, okay, that's all I got. So the first time we meet the guy, that was how long our meeting was. That was all he asked. So then I'm sitting next to Tyler Rivette. And I'm like, Tyler, what time we blast off tomorrow? And he's like, I don't know, Tater. I said, is there anything off limits at Okeechobee? I don't know, Tater. He didn't say. Like, we didn't even know what time it was, what boat number we were. Everybody, you could tell something was kind of sketchy with the whole thing. And then but the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, well, all these big names were in it, like Scott Martin was in it and all this. And I'm thinking, well, Scott knows all these TV people. The Netflix thing probably is real. But then this guy's like, don't tell anybody about Netflix. They haven't been announced yet. And we got this oil. Like it was just laid on heavy. Like he got everybody really to believe. Like you thought, well, man, maybe if this is real, this is going to be awesome. And all these people that turned it down are going to wish they were in it. But no. So I got a check, but I didn't get a check.
Yeah, right.
Some people got a check and it bounced. I actually got a check, but he never mailed the check.
And he was signing, his son was signing the check.
Oh, his son was, it was, I don't know. Apparently the guy scammed some people from Tennessee 2 years prior in a racing thing. I don't know if they ever did catch the guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed it. I was following it there for a while, and then it just kind of faded away.
Yeah, it kind of faded. I think most of it is because a lot of us were embarrassed.
Well, I mean,
Or the guys that actually paid money were probably embarrassed.
yeah.
If they would have said, "Hey, you got to give $10,000 to do this," then I would have did a little more digging.
Which is probably what happened. It started out where you had to pay entry fees, and there wasn't as much interest.
Right. So then he had to come up with a new scheme somehow. I don't know. I don't. Who knows?
Well, good thing.
My point was though, it was fun fishing against all the people that were in it.
Yeah.
Pate South was in it. A bunch of big time like Brandon or John Hunter and dude from Tennessee, Memphis, Knoxville, Colt
Lester, Brandon.
No. Oh, dang it. Going blank because I'm getting old.
Well, I mean, Matt Steffen was in there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of names in it. John Cox was in it.
Yeah,
everybody was in it was fun. Like we were all. It was like at home at a club tournament. We're all cutting up after the weigh-in.
Yeah,
and then we weighed in we had just a little table. It wasn't like the big, but you're like, man, we're fishing for $100,000 and we're basically weighing them out of the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of fun. Like it was
a
back to
old tournament or something.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't all the other stuff you have to go through in the big pro tournaments. Yeah. It was more like a home wildcat. Right. And you're fishing with one of your buddies from home.
For $100,000.
For $100,000 that wasn't real. And when we look back on it, and then like when I was rooming with Matt, me and Shane were rooming with Matt and Wendell. So I was there when all the whole pelicans. Did you ever see that video where the pelican was attacking them?
No.
You didn't see that? Oh my gosh. Robertson, yeah, and Wendell. That thing went viral and got like 300,000 views.
I guess I missed it. Maybe I saw it and I forgot it already.
Where Matt's reeling in the fish and Wendell's he's got in the net and the pelican's trying to eat their fish in the net and Wendell's like swatting at it and Matt tried to kick it.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh my gosh, it's the funniest. It's the funniest video of the year.
I'm writing it down.
Look up, yeah, that's why he bought him. He got him some. He was selling hats at the Classic. It said "on them" with the pelican on the side by the "on them."
Yeah, Ottercat said he had run a 500 boat derby on my home pond for 20 years. I could have told you it was BS. Yeah, there's some people that did some like background checks on him, and
it was BS.
Yeah,
I just, dude, I literally found out on a Monday, and I was in a car going to Florida on a Friday. So me and Shane were probably one of the last two people even of the 60 in it, I guess. So I didn't even have time to really. I just was like, figured, okay, all these guys are in it. I guess I'll go along. And looking back on it, we stayed in 2 Airbnbs. I was gone for 2 weeks. I kind of learned how to fish in Florida because I never really fished in Florida with Shane. And we went to a casino one night, had fun. I had all these memories and stuff from it. Yeah. Well, to this day, Matt and all of us, we still talk about it. Sucks we got scammed out of our money on the money we earned, but we still had fun.
And you were part of one of the greatest hoaxes in bass fishing. You could tell your grandkids. I
was one of 60.
I was there.
Yeah, one of 60, one of 120.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys ought to get like some kind of commemorative t-shirts made, or I was there and all I got was this stupid t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
And then have a bounce check or something.
I didn't even get a check that says it's NSF. Some of them guys got actual checks.
They didn't. They bounced.
No, the first tournament he wrote checks for everybody, and those all bounced. The second tournament, he took our SD cards and said he had to go over the footage. And when he got home, if we didn't cheat or do anything, break any rules or whatever, after he looked at, he'd mail us the check. Well, that's how he kept delaying it. And like a week would go by, no check. Another week, you call him, and eventually he just stopped answering your calls.
He wanted to make sure there was no funny stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
The con artist was making sure everything was legit.
I still don't know because he had back-to-back tournaments. I don't know why. Once he was once we're all down there, why do you even show up at all? Because, see, we all practiced for 3 days before he got there. So then we started Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We had a meeting on a Wednesday, and that's the first time he showed up to Florida. And that was at Okeechobee. Then we fished those 3 days. He wrote the checks at the end that weren't any good. Then we went to St. John's, practiced for 3 days. And then he had another 3-day tournament. And that's when he took our SD cards and said he was going to pay everybody later. Why even why even come to Florida at all? We're already there. He's already got the money from the people that. Then why go to the second tournament? That was your chance to get out of there. None of it has made any sense. We've still wondered why.
He was just trying to keep it going a little bit long. It's kind of like a serial killer. They always they circle back around to the crime scene and they watch from afar. They'll sit there and watch the emergency vehicles and the crime scene. They want to be, they still want to be a part of it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying he's like that kind of person, but he could have not made it out of the parking lot. Talking about them fruit jars. You pull something like that over here locally, and you may not come home. You may not come home. They'll get a shovel and bury you out in the woods probably. John Boy wants to know, is the tail hard material flexible on the Hog Father Jr.?
The tail material is flexible.
Okay.
On mine and their version. I will say their version, do not get it close to soft. It's kind of like that same what's the stuff called that the Koiki's made out of?
TPE.
It's similar to that. I don't know exactly. They didn't tell me exactly, but I do know don't get it next to soft plastic. Like when you store them, the Strike King version, because I think I had one touch the soft plastic and it kind of did something to their tail.
Okay.
So just FYI, guys that have bought one, store them in the same, keep it away from your soft plastics.
Interesting fun fact.
Just let you know.
A quick pirate says Adrian Avino went straight to the bank and got his check cleared.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Giving him the most money earned on the DTF trail. He's got the title for the most money earned. Smart.
Yeah, he was one of the only ones that got it to cash.
After that, it was all gone.
DTF.
Anybody out there got any questions? Get them up here. I'm gonna pull up this Baitworks gift card. We're gonna give away a $25 Baitworks gift card real quick. Let's see here. How about Hog? Get this back here. Okay, if you want to get entered into the $25 Baitworks gift card giveaway, hashtag capital H, capital O, capital G. We'll let that run for a couple minutes and then we'll draw for the gift card. So what's your thoughts so far on the season this year, NPFL wise? Are you learning anything out there?
Yeah, that's the thing for me. The first 2 years, I had horrible practices and horrible tournaments. So I've gotten a check before, but overall, I've never really felt like going into it. Man, every time I feel like, gosh, I don't know if I can catch a limit. And then, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But this year has been weird for me because I've actually had really good practices and I've had horrible first days. And then by the time I finally get to the second and third day, I had such a bad first day that I don't know. I seem to do better on the second and third day. If I could just catch a limit on the first day this year, I think I'd be good.
Yeah, if you can put 3 good.
Yeah, whatever I found in practice for 3 days has not worked on the first day, and then I make that adjustment on the second day, and I start to catch them again, I guess. And that's probably the difference in somebody like Hackney and me. He figures out that adjustment in an hour.
Yeah, right.
I figure it out. He might figure it out in 20 minutes. I figure it out the next day when I go home and think about it.
It takes me 2 days to figure it out. So
Yeah,
you're
sometimes I never figure it out. And it's just that's just experience of being out there traveling, knowing where to go, coming to that place again. And that's what's hard. And then the hardest thing is when you figure out something and you figure out where you screw up at your home lake, you have a tournament the very next Saturday and
yep,
you get
that's
to do
right.
it all over again.
That's
In the
right.
travel thing, nope, we're not going to Lay. Now we're going to here a month later in a whole new state. And then we're going here. And then 4 years from now, they might come back to Lay Lake in May. And you hope it's the same conditions of when you made your mistake and go back and correct it.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's 2
That's
months
what
later.
makes
It's
yes.
4 years and 2 months later on that same lake.
Right.
So,
That's
totally
what
different.
makes it hard.
I can only imagine.
As someone that used to just watch it and think, oh, I can do that. Oh, I could do this. Then you go out and do it, and you're like, okay, this is way harder than I thought.
Yep. I totally get it. Like I was saying earlier, I've been spending a lot of time down in Kentucky Lake. And you think if you spend 3 days on a lake, you could get it dialed in, but no, it ain't that easy. It makes me respect the people that can do it a whole lot more, and then they're going to another lake. And it's not just, one tournament's a Tennessee River ledge type of fishery. The next tournament's in Florida where there's grass everywhere. The next tournament there's cypress trees. The next tournament it's a herring lake. Then another one's Lake of the Ozarks where there's docks. You got all these tidal fisheries, smallmouth lake. There's like all these different variables, different kinds of lakes, and you got to figure it all out in 3 days or 2.5 days. It's tough. I can only imagine.
And the guys that I fish against, that's all they do is fish. Where I fish for a week, then I got to come home and catch up on all my orders and try to work to make up for the week that I've been gone. Well, Patrick Walters and all those elite guys, they're at the next event, and then they're at the next event, and then they're back over here again. Yep. So they literally never quit fishing from the beginning, and they might have a couple weeks off. So it's kind of hard to, you're trying to compete, but that's the challenge for me. You're like, man, I want to beat these guys just one time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just that's the challenge of it at my age, and probably why I like doing it.
Yeah, there is definitely something to be said about that, about being up in something consistently. If it's if you're in a band and you're playing on the road all the time and you're just out there doing it nonstop, like 5-6 days a week, you can just pick up guitar and just switch chords and just play effortlessly without even thinking about it. Or if you're somebody that, plays a gig once a month and then does their, has a 9-to-5 job and stuff, you're a little more rusty. Same thing with somebody that's fishing all the time. It's just decision making is like so quick, just boom, 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 boom. And, you're home, making baits and taking orders and stuff. You got to kind of, for me, it's like, I got to get out of that. Like when I go fishing, I'm a mailman, right? So when I go fishing, it takes me a little bit to get out of my job and out of my, family life and get into fishing. Where if you're doing that all the time, you're already up in it. It's just fluid. It's smooth. You don't have to like adjust and shift like your mindset from this lifestyle to this lifestyle. You're already up in it and you're just going with it. So it's a lot more fluid. Your decisions are a lot more effortless.
I have found too, though, a little bit like the way the season goes, like you might be in Florida in January and they're starting to spawn and they're on top water or whatever, let's say. Well, then the next tournament in March is in South Carolina. Oh, they're starting to spawn and they're just starting to bite top. And now we're going up to New York and they're starting to spawn. Like it's like they follow the pattern.
The spawn.
Yeah, kind of. They're following the spawn from Florida up.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like they won't spawn, like they'll be spawning, probably just now started spawning in St. Lawrence. maybe the end of June, the 1st of July. They were spawning last year when we were up there. Where they've been done spawning. They were on the beds when me and Shane were in the dual threat in January down in Florida.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where. So if you kind of get in a trend of that's kind of what I mean. You keep fishing that same style. But also, if you're a guy, that's why sometimes you see the same names all the time on a year that they're following the spawn because they might be the best spawn fishermen. Well, there's some other fishermen out there that might be really good in the winter. Well, they never went to any lake that was really a winter pattern, or they never went to a lake that was a fall pattern. I used to say I never understood why the Classic was always in the winter. They should rotate it around because certain guys are good at different times of the year.
There's a lot. Yep, definitely. You get like Drew Cook or Drew Benton around spawning fish, and he's top 10.
He's got a better chance of winning. Which Drew Cook's a good fisherman, not just bed. People just think he is bed
that's
fishing.
His specialty. That's his like sight fishing.
Right.
His, he's really, really dialed in on that.
Right. But if he was doing it during that time, if Vegas was given odds, he would be one of the favorites.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You got a lot of Cox is really good at sight fishing.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys are.
Cox is my favorite. I love talking to him.
He seems pretty he's a jolly guy. Seems like he's jolly all the time.
We talked to him. Shane called him one time, I think, because we were struggling or something, and they're friends, and I wish I could have recorded this conversation. It's funny. I think John was fishing and he was fishing with his buddy in dual threat, and his buddy had live scope. Granted, he might have it now, but at the time he still hadn't used it, right?
He was fishing with Keith Carson, right?
Yeah, I think. And he was like telling Shane, he was like, Shane, I used it today. He's like, it was weird. It's like, we hadn't caught a fish. I threw my crankbait out there and I saw my crankbait on the screen and I saw a bass and it was following it. And I stopped it and it stopped. And then I moved it and then it went after it and then it ate it. It was so cool. I was like John Cox is explaining exactly how he caught one on the screen for the first time.
That's cool, Ed. Yeah.
Yeah. He said, then I casted it again and they did it again.
Right.
He's like, there might be something to this.
Yeah. And then I had to turn it off because I was starting to like it too much.
Yeah. I don't know. Then he found out dual threat was fake.
All right. Let's give away this $25 Baitworks gift card. Here we go. John Boy won. Congratulations. So get a hold of me, John, at Gabe Montgomery on Facebook or 10 Horse Monty 6 on Instagram, and we'll get you taken care of. Congratulations. I was trying to see if there's any more questions on here. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any more questions on there. So you guys are going. Where are you going next?
Logan, we're going back to Alabama. I leave Saturday. We're going Logan Martin's next week. Well, practice starts this Sunday. So it's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We're off Wednesday. And then I think term is Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So how do you like the 3 days? Like everybody fishes 3 days. Does everybody seem to like that all right? Or have you guys talked about, making a cut on that third day?
There's been times I like it when it's like, oh man, it's kind of cool because if you say you really were on fish and you just had that day, you lost a couple and you come in, you got 8 pounds, but you've been catching 15 in practice. You feel like if you catch 15 the next day, you might have got cut, let's say, because you had 8 the first day. But if you back it up with 15 on that last day, then you might get a check.
Right.
So that's the scenario you like it. There's been times that I've sucked the first day, zeroed, caught 2 fish, and I'm like, man, I need 27 pounds to get a check, on the last day on a place that it's hard to catch 13 pounds, let's say.
Yeah.
What are the odds of me? Like, I just want to go home. But then you're like thinking, well, I need to get some points because you're thinking, now I need to. But maybe the first couple, you're like, if I can get 20 more positions, get 20 more points, maybe I'll make the championship at the end of the year. So it's kind of like NASCAR. Now you got a broke car and you're just racing for points on that last day.
Flat tire.
But me, I'm consistently in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I've had a couple top 25s. Well, let's see. No one. I get my butt kicked a lot here, Gabe. But I'm saying, I did the math the other day. The way the points are setting up for me, I would have to finish second on the last three to make the top 40.
You got this.
Oh my gosh, dude. You second. Yeah. So I'm no longer points fishing. So I don't really care. I'm going to just swing for the fences and try to win one of these last three. And if I stink, and if it's 100 degrees, and it's the last day, I might cut myself because I'm my own sponsor. Some of the guys go out because of the sponsor, but it just depends if I want to, how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Well, on the day 3, if you did kind of start to figure something out, then it's nice to go back out on day 3.
And you might catch the biggest fish of the tournament. That's worth $1,500.
Sure.
And like the last tournament at Lay, I mean, I was catching them flipping, but I was boat 84. I never saw anybody on the places that I found in practice. I go to my first spot. There's Hackney. There's Randall Tharp. Here comes Scott Canterbury.
Oh,
I'm seeing holes in the grass where they've already ripped fish out. I'm like, crap. And it was all I could do to find like 4 places. I had no deep pattern. I just had shallow stuff. I didn't have any backup plan. I zeroed. Then the second day, I didn't have nothing to lose. I knew I could not get a bite, but if I knew I couldn't get 5 bites. But if I could get a bite, I'd catch. It was a good one on a buzz bait. I would literally throw a buzz bait for 9 hours and got 3 bites. And I had 3 bites and had 12 pounds. Like I caught a 6, I caught a 5. If I could have caught 5 every day on that buzz bait, I'd have top 5 that thing.
You just needed 4 more hours.
Oh God, I probably needed 8 more hours. You would get 2 bites and go 7 hours without a bite. You might get bite. And you're like, okay, they're biting. 7 hours later, bite. Or the next day, nothing, and then bite, and then nothing, and 2 fish. So, but then you try something else and you wouldn't even get for me.
And you get good quality too. Good quality.
Yeah, and I was throwing the koiki all around. I was going in beeswax, throwing that koiki around, and there I'm watching Alex Davis throw it all around me, and he wins the tournament. But he's doing something different, or he's throwing it in the right place. I was in the area, but I wasn't throwing it in the right place, or who knows? It could be line. There's so many factors.
Yeah, well, the good thing is you're fishing in an area that Hackney and Tharp are fishing in, which means that you're in an area that has good fish. But the bad thing is you're fishing in an area that...
The only thing I could take from it was I found the right pattern. I just didn't catch them because it was pockets where there was brim beds is where you would flip and where you would also throw that koiki. And that's kind of what Alex Davis was throwing them on brim beds, but he found some off the bank. I had to visually see him because I don't have 360 where I just didn't see the brim beds that he was throwing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. He found something I didn't. That's why he caught them and I didn't. But I found some brim beds in some other areas, and it was just random. You could have went and ran the pocket, then I ran the pocket, then someone else ran the pocket with a buzz bait, then someone else ran it, then this guy catches 3 on the same buzz bait you're throwing. It's like when those fish wanted to bite, they bit. When they didn't want to bite, they would not bite. It is what it felt like for me. Those guys caught them at Lay, and the weights were big, but it was a grind, man. Even the ones that caught them, like even this last tournament, I think, Christie won. He really didn't catch that many fish. I mean, he said he didn't catch the limit the first day, I don't think.
No, he had 4.
He was barely getting 5 bites.
Yeah.
He was also running the long way, which cut away from his fishing time, but I don't think he was catching that many
No, he
fish.
was getting like 6 to 9 bites a day, I think, something like that.
Right. But he
A
was
lot, a
getting
lot of
around.
guys were. A lot of guys weren't getting that many bites.
Yeah.
You know.
And Lay was kind of like that. When you got a bite, it was like a 4 or 5 pounder, but you just didn't get very many bites. You could easily 0 or catch 6 fish.
Yeah. Right. And if you jump off a couple,
yeah,
it looks good on paper, but it was a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ottercat summed it up, man. He said, not much of a future flipping behind Hackney.
No. Oh, I wasn't there long. I was like, I went in there and I saw, and I was like, well, maybe they didn't hit this. And I was coming back out. And as I'm coming back out, here comes Canterbury, who lives, close to there.
Yeah.
That's one of his home lakes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I found a good place. It just sucks. I was boat 84. It would have been nice if I could have just come straight. But I never saw anybody in there or in that area in practice. But I guess when I went in there and figured out there was fish, I was only in there 20 minutes and left, went somewhere else. And somebody else probably went in there.
Yep.
And somebody else probably went in there.
You showed up with a knife to a gunfight and you said, well,
yeah.
I'll just take it to the house or take it to the next cove, look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. If you're in a spot for, like you said, 20, 30 minutes and you leave, somebody else is coming in there and they're
I guess I should have just put my tent in there and stayed there all 3 days of practice and ran everybody out and said, nope, this is my place.
Yeah.
And then they'd never come in there.
Yeah. It's a gamble, man. You just never know. I mean, ideally is you would have had to find 20 good spots.
Oh, I had like 12 cuts and there's somebody in every one of them. Yeah. We all were fishing the same thing over and over, just rotating.
Yep.
It was weird.
I've had several tournaments like that.
Yeah.
You're on them really good and you can't wait to get out there. Your first spot, there's somebody on it. Second spot, there's somebody on it. Third spot. Finally, you only got 5 spots and then you're like, I don't know where I'm going to fish now. I'm just going to go pick someplace and you have no idea if there's even a fish in the whole cove, but you don't really have anywhere else to go. So, cool, man. Let's wrap her up. We've been going for 2 hours.
Sorry, I was late.
Man,
how late was I? Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
It was perfect. It worked out perfect. I appreciate it.
Didn't mean to do that to you, Gabe. I'm not normal like that. No, Watch that though. Maternal Instinct, Netflix.
All right, I'm writing it
Crazy.
down. I got a Robertson video to watch with the Pelican, and I got Maternal Instinct
on Netflix.
Okay, I'll watch it tomorrow night.
I can't. It's kind of a weird.
I'm not gonna have nightmares, am I?
No. It's just it's not a great story. It's kind of a sad story at the end. But it's just you can't believe somebody would do what this person did. You're like, are you serious? I don't know how we didn't hear about it sooner. I don't know how I've never heard about it till just now. What is he saying? Biffled them?
Yeah, biffled them. Gonna cut you. I don't know if that ever actually happened, but there's rumor that Biffle used to run people out of his areas. He threatened
with a 9.
He used to threaten to cut them.
Well, I'm friends with Matt Heron, and you know how Matt Heron will kind of run people out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was in it. I'm like the type that if I have a dispute with somebody on the water, it just upsets me. Even if I'm in the right or like see the Karen docks when the homeowner will come down and yell, "Don't fish my dock." I'm the type of I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am, and I'll just go to the next dock.
Yeah.
Because if I defend myself, I just get mad and then I can't fish and it messes with my head. So I'm always just trying to avoid conflict. I'll just move on, go somewhere else. I'm that type, right? Well, I was telling Matt Heron this, and he's like, his wife is like, Tater, sometimes you just got to be a butthole. You got to stick up for yourself. You got to get in there. Well, at Millwood, Matt was in first place, right? Well, one of my buddies is coming out of this pocket, and I see him, it's Stacy James, and I say, "You all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I just went back in there. Matt just yelled at me, told me to get out of here." So that's when I knew Matt was fishing there, and I didn't know where he was. And I almost went back there because he had a camera in his boat just to give NPFL some TV. And I even told Matt I was going to come back here and say, Shooter, I gave you 500 yards, but not anymore, not today, because your wife said just be a butthole. I'm coming in here.
Hey, I got a really funny story for you. This is
What's that?
part of this. So around here we have there's trout parks. There's like 4 trout parks in Missouri, and you know they stock the trout every day. People that don't fish a whole lot, will go camping with their family, or some buddies will get together and they make an annual trip out of it. They have an opening day, which is like March 1st. But it's a big deal. It's like deer season, like opening day of deer camp. It's a tradition. But one of the things that happens in these trout parks is you get a lot of people that don't have, they don't respect spatial awareness. They don't have a lot of ethics out there on the water. They just kind of do whatever they do, and
Yeah.
they'll throw over your line. There's the bent rod pattern where you start catching some fish. Next thing you know, people start getting in closer and closer. And it's a river. It's a clear river. It's the start of the current river. Trout fishing. People are wading, this and that. So there's my father-in-law's friend. He's since passed, but he was down there. He was down there fishing Montauk, and it was a day when there wasn't a ton of people in the park. A lot of times it's really, really crowded. You can't get away from people. You just have to fish next to people. That's, you stand 10 feet next to somebody. Well, it was kind of raining, and Gerald was down there fishing. He went down there to get away. And Gerald's he was a short, kind of pudgy guy, and he had a temper. He had a slick top, and his face would get red, and he'd just start fuming if something happened. So he had a short, a short fuse, so to speak. So he's out there fly fishing. He's got this nice long stretch of river pretty much by himself, which is kind of rare. And he's just enjoying his afternoon. It's overcast, temperatures in the 60s. Anyway, another guy from this area knew that Gerald was there fishing. So this guy was going to be down there the same weekend, but they hadn't communicated. So Gerald, who was fishing, didn't know that this other guy was going to be there. So anyway, he shows up, and he knows where Gerald's favorite hole is. So he gets everything set up, and he decides he's going to go out there fishing. And Gerald's fly fishing too, by the way. Well, he looks around. You can walk down the river from the bank, and you can kind of see there's little spots where you can kind of tuck into the woods, and you can kind of look around. Then you get back out, and you have to walk back around. But you can kind of, there's spots where you can see their access points. So anyway, he finds Gerald down there, and he makes his way out in the water, and he's about 100 yards from Gerald. He's upstream. Gerald's fishing, just really in the zone, just soaking up the day, just enjoying things. So this other guy, I can't remember his name. We'll just call him Mike. I can't remember his name. Anyway, so Mike gets in the water, and he pulls up his hoodie like this, and he's casting, and he starts slowly walking down the river towards Gerald. A couple minutes later, he's about 50 yards away, and then he sees Gerald kind of looks up and like, who is this guy coming down? He's kind of feeling like maybe this guy's gonna encroach on his space. So long story short story long, whatever. Mike starts inching in on him. Next thing you know, he's 30 yards from him. Next thing you know, he's 20 yards from him. Next thing you know, he's 10 yards from him. And Gerald, each time he's looking up like, who is this guy? We got the whole river, and this guy wants to come down here and crowd me. And he just knows that Gerald's getting really upset without ever saying anything. So Mike gets like 5 yards from him, and he actually casts like across his line and lets his line like swing. And Gerald just unloads on him like, what the hell? And Mike's sitting here with his back to him, and then he turns around and pulls his hoodie down and pulls his hat off, and they just start laughing at each other. He's like, you SOB, I was about ready to drown you. I was about ready to stab you. And turned out to be a good story, you know, buddies. But it reminds me of, you know, Heron back there in the way back in the cove and yelling at somebody, and that's part of fishing, man. You know.
Yeah.
We do that stuff, but I love that story. I can just imagine you're sitting there having this nice, peaceful day, and then here comes some idiot that's got the whole river to him, and gets right up in your business. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap it up, man. Tater, it was fun. Appreciate it. Good luck.
I enjoy it. Thanks for having me on. I've always had fun on your show.
Yeah, I hope you get 2 wins and a second place in the next 3 derbs.
I will just take a top 30 and a check and be happy.
Time that Hog Father and just let her eat.
I'm just at this point, I'm out of it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quickie it. Shit, I can't beat them, join them.
That's
I'm just doing quickie it.
All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody have a great week, and
See you guys.